doesn't let him finish the speech, doesn't even care what he's going to say to explain it. My son is dead, now he's alive. He's lost, now he's found. The father doesn't have to respond this way. He couldn't respond to his son's return with suspicion. That's how it feels more natural to respond, doesn't it? How do I know you're not going to take my money from me again? Have you really changed your ways? You probably have some sort of addiction problem, alcohol, gambling, sex, something. How do I know that in a year it's not going to come up and it's going to bother you and you're going to have to leave again and take my money, take advantage of me? How do I know you're not going to hurt me again? And the truth is, the father doesn't know, but he trusts anyway. He's willing to be vulnerable to more hurt in order to restore the relationship with his son. The love in him is so powerful, it moves the suspicion off to the side. All he wants to do is give to his son. All he wants to do is offer grace. He lets his guard down completely in this instance. And we can see that because of that, grace and reconciliation in the story is actually possible. Well, the other son is irate, and we completely understand his feelings. But I was here the whole time, and I did everything you wanted, and you never threw a party for me. But the father just says to the son, you're always with me. Everything I have that is yours. But don't you see, your brother just came back. He was lost. I thought he was dead, but he's not, and he's here, and he's back, and really reconciliation is possible. Don't you see how rare that is? This story is only in the Gospel of Luke, and many scholars think that it's the most important story in the Gospel. The story tells us what God is like. God is like the gracious Father, loving unconditionally, willing to be vulnerable for our sake, putting suspicion aside to trust our best intentions and to offer grace that is needed for any healing and reconciliation to ever happen. But the story also tells us what the realm of God is like. The realm of God isn't an otherworldly reality. It's present here, now, and we seek to live in it and help create it as Christians. And the realm of God is this crazy world of grace, where people are confident and courageous enough to be vulnerable in the relationships with one another, where trust is offered and grace is given, and suspicion is overwhelmed by love, and love is strong enough that it heals. The story calls us to be like the prodigal son and like the father. And to do both, we're going to have to give trust a try. The Christian faith tells us that we're forgiven. This story proclaims it. The crucifixion and resurrection proclaims it. Paul's talking about it all the time. We sin. We mess up as individuals, as groups, as nations. And whenever we're ready, God is there to welcome us back and show us a better way. Again and again and again. But for this message to make any difference, we need to trust it. At some point, we'll have to take a leap of faith and give ourselves to this. And it's not easy. We can't just ease into it. It's kind of like learning to ski jump or hang glide. At some point, you just have to let go and fly and trust that God will catch you. At some point, we say, this message is so inviting, so appealing. I'm going to live it. I'm going to let go and start again. I'm going to let go of my shame. I'm going to let go of my fear of what other people think, and I'm just going to live as God calls me to live and start new today. We're called to give this a try. Give this trust a try. It saves. It truly does. And at the same time, we're called to offer the same grace that we receive. We're called to allow love to make us vulnerable with one another. We're called to push our suspicion aside and trust others. We're called to offer grace, to give when no one else will give anything. There's no doubt that we need reconciliation in the world. And we are to be a group of reconciling people, which means we're called to be a group of vulnerable, trusting, grace-offering people. Now, that's not easy. In fact, it sounds ridiculously foolish. So we'll take some small steps to get there. Think of one place where you'll give trust a try. One relationship with a child, a sibling, partner, friend, coworker, neighbor, stranger. Just one place, one relationship. One place where you'll push your suspicion aside, for a little longer. Be vulnerable a little bit more. Vulnerable enough to trust. To offer some grace. Open yourself to hurt. But knowing that through this process, by offering trust and grace, you are following the only way that will heal and reconcile. May God give us the strength and grace and courage that we need. Amen.